Hi everyone, Ashley here, and today I will be doing a review of the book Rook by Sharon Cameron. A few weeks ago, I had decided to get involved with an online book club. I wanted to get involved with a book club because it had been a really long time since I had read any new books, started any new series, or really fell in love with reading. All the books I have been reading recently were either books I already owned and had already read, or books that my friends were lending to me, and I wasn't really getting interested in these books. I was just kind of reading half of them, and it was taking me like a whole month just to get through half a book. A lot of it was because I had been getting caught up in my final semester of the year for school and switching jobs at work, and I hadn't really been taking the time for myself and enjoying my favorite hobby, which is reading new fantasy, young adult books, new literature, anything. I'm open to all genres. So the first thing I did was go to BookTube, where I have been a viewer for many years, and I found Perustopia's new book club, which they have started on Goodreads. I will put a link to that page below. And August was the first month of their brand new book club, and the book they had decided to do was Rook. So I had decided to kill two birds with one stone, and I read Rook both for the book club and for Booktubeathon as the book with a blue cover. It probably wasn't the best idea for Booktubeathon simply because of how long the book was. But those are lessons learned for next year, and there will definitely be a video next week that shows all the wonderful lessons I learned for next year's Booktubeathon. But I will be posting an update video on that later. So Rook is a future sci-fi novel that takes place in an undetermined amount of time in the future, after all technology has been destroyed and humanity has come back to living without technology. Basically, the idea around this world is that technology has somehow corrupted humanity, has made them lazy, has caused the class system between the upper class and the lower class to grow even larger. So we have a world where she's trying to call the shots, and there's this new cult-like goddess religion in charge of everything, and you have a lot of discrimination against the rich or the upper class, anybody who profits off of technology. And now the time period that we're kind of in is reconnaissance of the French Revolution time period, right down to French fashions, the language, the lifestyle, and the execution style. As part of the conflict between the upper class and the lower class, the leading premier, who is in charge of the Parisian, British, Commonwealth world right now, is basically executing all the rich people who could stand against him, who were profiting off technology, using something called the razor, or as we love to call it, the guillotine, if we remember from our French Revolution history. So going right into this novel, you would not know that it is taking place in the future. At first, the novel almost completely reads like historical fiction, French Revolution novel, and it's really hard to remind yourself constantly that you are not actually reading about historical France at the end of the 18th century, but you are also actually reading about a world that takes place in the future. And the story also is inspired by the legend of the Scarlet Pimpernel, which was a man who had gone into the tombs of France and was liberating all these people who were being executed at the time. And in this story, the Scarlet Pimpernel is played by the Red Rook, who is this mysterious person who likes to go into the tombs underneath the lower city, which is basically Paris, is the idea I gotten, was we're like in Paris here, and they like to liberate everybody who's about to be beheaded. And the Red Rook is actually a young girl named Sophia Bellamy, whose family, the Bellamys, used to make their entire fortune off of printing presses. But because of the new laws against technology, her family's business was shut down, and now her father owes the government all kinds of money, and they are about to be bankrupt, and he is about to be thrown into debtor's prison. So Sophia is betrothed to a rich, suave nobleman named Rene. And Rene is basically your typical arrogant, pretty boy who seems to care only about money and about his looks and doesn't actually seem to care about Sophia or anything important. But Renee is not like he seems, just like Sophia is not like she seems. She is actually the Red Rook. She is trained in swordplay. She is trained in espionage. She loves to climb up onto the roof and sneak out in the middle of the night. And the story starts with Sophia liberating this family, men, women, and children who are all related to the Minister of Defense, who was arrested for not agreeing with the premier. And the entire family, including the children, were set to be executed from the razor, which is this world's guillotine. So we start with Sophia rescuing the Bennets, and that act caused her family to be looked under a suspicion as the Red Rook. However, everybody believes that her brother, Tom, is actually the Red Rook, even though Tom was injured while serving in the military and wouldn't physically be capable of it. No one believes that it could have been Sophia. So the night of her engagement party, her brother is arrested as the Red Rook, and Sophia has to work with Renee and her friends in order to rescue her brother, pretty much overturn the government, and save the world. And it's really hard for her to know who to trust, who's on her side, who she can confide in, and who it's safe to let basically get involved with the fact that she is the Red Rook. The story for plot was amazing. I really liked the fact that we never truly trust the main male characters, no matter what the main protagonist is feeling throughout the story. Sophia eventually starts to have warmer feelings towards Renee, but those feelings are questionable because we don't really know who Renee's allegiances lie with. Is he loyal to the Bellamy's, or is he loyal to the government? And it's really complicated to know that. And the plots for how they go in and rescue the brother are pretty interesting. My struggle with this book was the writing style. The author kind of does not like to explain where we are, what kind of time period we're in. She gives no background history on the world. In the author's note at the end, she says that this was inspired by the idea of the polar caps shifting, which caused a lot of magnetic and electrical disturbances and thus the death of technology. But none of that is really, it's very slowly revealed as you read the novel, but if there was a lot of times where I had to go back and reread a page because I thought I had missed something. She does this also with characters and placings and actions. So one moment, Sophia may be talking to someone while sitting in a chair, and then the next paragraph, she's standing up outside of a bathtub, implying that time has passed and she has moved to the bathtub and is continuing to talk to someone about something. But the author does not help us along. She does not say Sophia then went to take a bath and took this person with her. It's just suddenly she's in a bath and she's still talking to this person, and apparently time has gone by. And sometimes there will be a person in the room or another character in a scene that we did not know was there until they said, oh, and then this person moved. And then I would go back a couple pages trying to see exactly at what point in the story that person entered. So that was probably my greatest struggle from reading this, was just the writing style. However, like I said, the story and the plot themselves were a great representation of fighting for democracy, fighting for freedom, and basically it speaks a lot against government oppression. And I also enjoyed the undertones of reminding us that we have to take care of our earth and we have to take care of the environment, and there are many things that we have to watch out for if we want to keep the technology that we have and sustain the world that we are living in. I really like these types of stories that take place in a future Earth but do not resemble a future Earth. I've written a couple myself where take place in a fantasy world where you think you're on another planet or universe or dimension completely, and it turns out that it is just Earth in the future that has been affected by our actions that are taking place right now. So if you like novels that take place in the future of Earth and like to see alternative futuristic possibilities based on climate change or government overthrow or economic collapse or whatever, definitely read this. It was really interesting for the historical fiction lover in me and the fantasy sci-fi lover in me. It really combined those genres perfectly. And I will also say that the main character of Sophia is probably one of the most likable female YA characters I've read in a long time. She's not as cookie cutter as so many young adult female characters are right now. She speaks up for herself. She doesn't rely on a man. Like, she falls in love, but she's not going to give up everything or give up who she is as a person because she happens to have fallen in love with somebody. She maintains that about herself, and she does not take crap from anyone. This is definitely a girl who is a hero in every sense of the world, and she has no, in every sense of the word, excuse me. And she has no insecurities, really. She knows she's insecure about the people around her, and she's insecure about who to trust, but she is secure in herself and who she is and what she stands for, and she does not go against those beliefs. So Sophia Bellamy was definitely a refreshing female young adult character to read. Like I said earlier, this book was pretty decent in length. If I did not have to work, it would have taken me about a day and a half to read through it, but with work it took me 2.5 days, about 3 days to read the whole thing. So like I said, I had originally read it for Booktubeathon, but that was probably not the smartest idea because of its length. It took me most of the work week to get through it. So if you would still like to join us in reading Rook for the month of August, you can still sign up on our Goodreads page. Once again, the link will be below. And I'd love to have everyone jump on so we can discuss Rook and the plot and discuss the possibilities for a sequel, because right now there is no sequel slated that I know of, but I think this book could definitely use a sequel or even be turned into a really great series. So I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on whether or not you agree with that and whether or not you agree with my review. So click the link below. Grab yourself a copy of Rook. Like I said, I used a Kindle version. I read it on my iPad, but you can get from the library. You can buy a physical version. There are many ways to read these days, which is awesome. So until next time, that was my review of Rook, and stay tuned for later so I give you a summary of how Booktubeathon is going, and we can see if my stammer and my stutter and my ability to say becomes any less as it has been in the past few days. We shall see. Maybe I need a script. Maybe I'm just getting used to talking to a camera. Who knows? But thank you to all my new subscribers, and thank you for joining me on this booktube learning journey that I am going on. Have a great day.
Hello, Mr. Zebra. Can I have your sweater? 'Cause it's cold, cold, cold in my hole.